All right, so hi everyone. Welcome to our mymaaastricht webinar. I think this is the second or third that we are doing this summer. It's the same thing as we've done before, but just so that if you have any questions, please feel free to ask those as well. My name is Ronja. I study medicine and international business, and I am originally from Finland, but now I've lived in Maastricht for 2 years. And today, Orla is also here with me.
Yeah, so I'm Orla. I've actually just finished my master's in media studies, digital cultures, and I'm from Ireland, and I've been living in Maastricht and working for my Maastricht since last August. It's probably one of my last things I do for my Maastricht, so I'm quite sad about that.
So just a little bit of an overview of what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to start by telling you a little more about the city. Then we're going to talk about housing. That is one of the most important things to acknowledge when moving to Maastricht. Also a little bit about bikes and transport, some living essentials, some tips, and how we can also help you. This presentation is around 60 minutes, including our Q&A. Depends a little bit how many questions you have. And we're going to be sharing how you can live your best life in Maastricht. You can already use the Q&A function, as Aisling said, to ask the questions throughout the presentation, but then we will answer some of your questions in the end as well.
So what is mymaastricht.nl? I can cover this a little bit, but basically we're a one-stop information platform to help new students settle and find their feet in the city. So we do this by providing information on like the fun stuff, like finding the best drinks in towns, to the more serious but necessary stuff like applying for subsidies. And we are created by students for students, and we're supported by Maastricht University, Zorg University, and the Gemeente Maastricht.
So a little bit about Maastricht in general. It's very diverse, very international. It's quite a small town. There's only 120,000 inhabitants, but a huge student population, as 1/6 of the population is students. So a lot of student life. You can see students anywhere you basically go in the city, and that makes it very vibrant as well. It's also super international. Over half of the students come from abroad. A lot all over the place. I would even say that from all continents, except maybe Antarctica. But also the staff is very international. So for example, in my classes, I have a lot of teachers who are from abroad, and I have a lot of tutors who are from abroad as well. So that gives a very nice international balance into studying as well. We're also located at the heart of Europe, so literally almost as central as you can be. It's super easy to travel anywhere from Maastricht. There's a lot of airports. The trains go very easily to the neighboring countries, and basically traveling within Netherlands as well as outside is simple and easy. We have 9 airports located within a 3-hour public transport access from Maastricht. So if you, for example, want to take a weekend trip, go to say Croatia or London for a weekend, that's definitely possible. And all the bargain airlines are also coming to the closer airports, so it makes it a little bit cheaper than flying with the more expensive ones. So it's very easy to travel, for example, to Paris for a weekend or to Brussels or Amsterdam. So basically anywhere where you want to, very easy to get around.
So this is just a screenshot of our website, so you can see what it looks like. So we cover the obviously more important things like financing, housing, health and transport, but then the more fun things, like we have a city map, we have a list of all the different communities you can join, we have an events section, and we also have a sports section, so you can see what associations you can join. And then we also have a blog, which is updated quite regularly with different things that are normally dependent on the date.
So then going into the most crucial and most asked questions. So housing. Housing is a little bit challenging in the Netherlands. There is what they would say a little bit of a housing crisis, but nothing to worry about. We're sure that you will find a place if you haven't found one yet. If you have, congratulations. Then you're already halfway set to moving to Maastricht. So if you're starting school this September, start already looking now. Hopefully you already have something, or at least you have some viewings lined up, and then you can go from there. Here we're going to share a couple of different resources to finding housing. So first of all, Maastricht Housing, that's the official Maastricht University and Zuid housing agency. So how it works is you pay a one-time €35 fee. That's for life. So no recurring fees after that. You pay once. And then you have an access to apply to any of the guest houses. So you can search through their website all the vacancies that they have and see if there's something that would fit you. They have rooms, and they also have, for example, studios. And for some of the housing options there is a system that the longer you have been a member, so the longer you have been registered to a website, then you have priority. Or for example, there's some studios that you have to be a 6 months registered into the platform in order to apply. So for example, if you're not starting this September, but in February, then you might already want to consider registering to Maastricht Housing. These guest houses are located all over the city, so definitely near your campus and at a good location. You can read more about Maastricht Housing on the maastrichthousing.com website. Another option for housing is these official social housing corporations. They are, for example, Maasvallei, Servatius, and Woonpunt. What is to know about these housing corporations is that they have an upper income limit. So if you're a student, you're probably falling underneath that bracket. But depending a little bit on your situation, you may be or may not be eligible to apply for these places. So check out also their websites for the criteria. Well, then the most common way of finding apartments is through private landlords. In we don't have any like official campus as you might have in some other countries or in some other locations. So in that sense, most people end up renting through private landlords. You can search for apartments, or most people search for apartments through Facebook, Paris, or Camernet. So these are all websites where individual people or agencies can post about the free apartments. Of course, to take into consideration is that when we are, for example, on Facebook, there's a lot of scams. So make sure that the notices are legit. So for example, if you are looking at a house, make sure you get a viewing. If you cannot go to viewing yourself, then maybe ask a friend or somebody else to be able to go to a viewing. And if that's not possible, then maybe for the last resort, ask for an online viewing. But I would say that never take a house without actually seeing it in person, just to make sure that you don't get scammed. Also, on Facebook, especially, there are things that sound too good to be true. If that is so, then it probably is too good to be true. So scammers usually tend to, for example, price their places that don't exist a little bit lower on the price line. So make sure you are aware of this as well. Otherwise, for example, on Facebook, there's a lot of groups, for example, apartments in Maastricht, rooms in Maastricht, and so on. So just put on the search bar rooms Maastricht or apartments Maastricht, and you're sure to find the different groups. There are also some other options. So for example, hospi housing, CR, the student hotel, and stay okay. So hospi housing is a system where a local resident has opened their home. They have, for example, one extra room that they are renting out, and then you get to live for a cheap price at their place. CR and the student hotel are a little bit more expensive, but then they are more hotel-like. So for example, in the student hotel, they have a gym and you get a bike and so on and so forth. So there's different options there, but they are a little bit pricier. And then for short-term solutions, Stay Okay is a local hostel. So maybe if you're having a lot of challenges finding a place, then that can also be a short-term solution. However, the official recommendation from the university is currently that if you don't have a housing by the time the semester begins, then it's maybe not smart to arrive in Maastricht, because it's very difficult to find a place on such a short notice. So please look into apartments already before September.
So these are just the tips and tricks that we've learned from housing ourselves, from both sides of it. So what I did was I turned on notifications for all of the different Facebook housing groups, so that every single post that happened, I would get a notification. And then I'd have a template message that was basically like, hi, I'm Orla, I'm from Ireland, I'm studying this. And then like a little bit about myself, so I could get a message out immediately. But like also make sure you personalize it a little bit for the room, like mention something that they've said in the post or something about the room, so they know that you've actually read the post and it's not just a copied and paste message. Be honest, if you're a big partier and you don't want to be living in a quiet flat with PhD students, I wouldn't really be applying for that, but just tell them who you really are, because you don't want to be stuck with people with a very different lifestyle than yours. And also don't get disheartened. I know it can be quite chaotic. I know that it feels like you're not going to find a place. You most likely are. Just keep trying. You might not get responses for the first few, but just keep going and you will be able to get a place.
So then a little bit about the neighborhoods. I know that some of you may be worrying about wanting to live very close to your campus. But the thing about Maastricht is, the good thing is that everything is very close by. So even if you live, say, on the other side of the river than your campus, it's maximum 15-minute bicycle ride. So everything is super close. So I would personally not worry too much about the area where you live or the neighborhood. But here on the map, you can see the different faculties. So on the city center side of the river, we have the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, Law Faculty, Business, and then UCM, which is liberal arts. And then on the other side of the river, we have the health campus and the psychology and neuroscience, as well as the engineering campus. So some of the areas where a lot of students live are mentioned here. So in Vic, there's a lot of students, as well as then, for example, Mariaberg or Brussels Port, where also a lot of guest houses are located. So just so you see on a map a little bit where these different places are located, but I would not worry as long as it is within Maastricht or even a little bit of outside of Maastricht. For example, cycling to Belgium takes around 15-20 minutes. So if you find a place there, that's also completely valid and a good place to live, as Maastricht can be a little difficult to find a place in.
So then living expenses. Your rent will be an average of €500, including service costs in a shared apartment. So that includes like your gas, water, electricity. And then if you would like to live on your own, studios with a private kitchen can cost from around €1,000, but it does depend on the area as well. If you're closer to the city, it's going to be more expensive. Then other expenses like living, like food, groceries, gym, and all that type of thing is approximately €400 to €600. It does depend on the lifestyle that you want to keep living, because you might want to spend all your money on food and drink. You might live more frugally. It's up to you, but that's generally around the range of it. Then your study materials and memberships for clubs and things like that, that'll fall into that as well. And then also, if you are having trouble with money or you think you will have trouble with money, check out our page for our financial subsidies, which is on our website.
Then a little bit about banking. So MasterCards are the most common, and the MasterCard or Visa does not always work. However, the Netherlands is currently changing their system away from the MasterCards during this year. So they're phasing out the Masters and bringing in more MasterCards. So I would necessarily not worry too much about getting a MasterCard at this point. But then just make sure that you always have some cash in case there is a place that does not accept the MasterCard yet. Especially if you're coming from outside the EU, consider opening a bank account just so that you don't have to pay all these transaction fees. So, for example, ABN AMRO and ING have student accounts for free. It does require registration with the municipality though. So we're going to talk about this a little bit later on. This is also a little bit easier for EU students compared to non-EU students. So for example, if you're a non-EU student, you will physically need to visit the bank. But honestly, in the end, it's not that much extra work, but just something to note on your end. We also definitely recommend getting an insurance, so a liability insurance. So basically, for example, if you cycle and you hit somebody's car, then your insurance will be covering the damage that's caused from that. And then also it's always good to secure all the things that you have in your home. So you can also get an insurance for that. These insurances are also super cheap. I think my liability insurance is like €3 a month, and my home insurance, €3 a year, and my home insurance is like 50 a year or something like that. So in the end, I would definitely put a little bit of money on that just to make sure that that you are insured in case accidents happen.
So then financing your studies for EU students, there is the government aid, which is available under certain conditions. So you need to work over 56 hours or over 56 hours per month. And you can also get tuition fee loans, which are available for most EU students. For non-EU students, it's a little bit trickier, but there's a lot of scholarships that are targeted particularly for non-EU students, which is quite helpful. We have a page on our website for it as well, if you'd like to check that out.
Then looking into jobs, you might want to consider getting a job in Maastricht. The good thing is that in a lot of places, Dutch is not required, so you don't necessarily need to speak Dutch at this point. Maybe our recommendation is that do not get a job in the first month, but maybe live in, if you don't, unless you really need to do that. But live in Maastricht for a couple of years and then start looking for, a couple months, and then start looking for a job so that you get everything settled, you get to make friends and actually get into the groove of your studying. The university also offers some social Dutch courses for free, so you can join one of these social Dutch courses and learn the basic Dutch on how to communicate with the people, for example, at a grocery store or at a cafe. There's a lot of student jobs available, for example, in cafes and restaurants. The university also has some jobs. So, for example, Orla and I are employed by the university. And then, for example, you can work in research. So some faculties offer research positions for students that you can also get paid for. And then where you can look for a job. So at the vacancy board, there's a lot of jobs also by the university, but also by external people as well. So you can check that out. Is hiring for the university. Then Werk.nl and Untouchables have just general jobs all over Maastricht, and you can check those out as well. Our tip is to, if you want to, for example, get a job at a restaurant or a cafe, just go there, hand in your CV, and it's good that they will put a face to the name and sort of you get to show yourself and hand your CV in, and that's a good way to get a job as well.
So health insurance is quite a serious topic. So if you're from the EU, you only need Dutch public health insurance if you're working. So I have to take out Dutch public health insurance, or if you're over 30 years old. Now, if you are from outside the EU, you will have to purchase Dutch health insurance, but there is a possibility for the health insurance subsidy, which the way it works out for me means I get my health insurance essentially for free. But if you have health insurance at home, check and see if that's applicable to living in the Netherlands, because it might not be, and then you might have to take out Dutch public health insurance.
Then one of the most essential things is also registering with the municipality. So if you're going to be staying in the Netherlands for over 4 months, then you are legally required to register with the municipality. So for example, if you are now coming to do your full degree in Maastricht and not just for a short exchange semester, then you need to register. This is also very important when you're looking for housing. So make sure that you can register within the house. There are some illegal student houses where they say that you cannot register, and then you might run into some problems with this. So please make sure that you can register with the house that you're looking to move into. We recommend that you register right away after arriving in Maastricht. So how it happens is that you can go online. The link can be found on our website as well. Fill in the form, and then you will receive an invitation to go to municipality, show them your passport and your birth certificate, and then you will be officially registered and you will receive a BSN number. A BSN number is basically your social security number, and that will help you in, for example, getting a DigiD, which is this internet identification system for a lot of government web pages. So for example, if you want to apply for a subsidy or things like that, then you need a DigiD for that, as well as a BSN. So this is a very simple process. It might sound a little challenging now, but once you fill in the form and everything, it's very easy. So no stress about that, but just please make sure you do it as soon as you arrive in Maastricht.
So then for airports and transport, which is slightly more of the fun stuff, it's very easy to get in and out of Maastricht. The public transport here is really, really good. We recommend that you get an OV chip card, which is basically for you to travel. So you just tap on and tap off if you're getting on the bus or on the train, and that works across the Netherlands. And it's really, really handy, and it's also cheaper than paying per single every time. And then if you are looking to travel, we have a lot of airports near us. So there's Maastricht Airport, which I flew out of to go to Italy. There's Eindhoven, Amsterdam, Brussels, Dusseldorf, and Cologne. And it's very easy to travel around as well and to get to those places. And the public transport is very self-explanatory as well. You can use Google Maps or then NS, an NS app, and then NS International if you're looking to go to places like Belgium as well.
And a little bit about bikes. So depending on where you come from, maybe cycling is something you already know. Maybe it's something that you're not very used to and you're a little bit confused about the Dutch cycling culture. Well, nothing to worry about. There are basically bike lanes everywhere. So as I said already earlier, Maastricht is quite small in terms of distances. So getting anywhere will take you around 10 to 20 minutes. You can buy a bike. If you want a secondhand bike, you can look at Facebook or marktplaats.nl. So on Facebook, again, there are several groups. So for example, Bikes Maastricht or Sell Bikes Maastricht, again, right on the search bar, Bike Maastricht, and you'll find a lot of these groups. And then Marktplaats is basically a secondhand marketplace where you can buy anything from furniture to clothes to bikes. So you can also check out some bikes from there. There is also a bicycle leasing system called Swap Feeds. So you pay every month a fee. I think the cheapest one is around 20 euros per month. And then it goes a little higher if you, for example, want gears or an e-bike. And how it works is that if your bike, for example, breaks, they will fix it for you for free or give you a new bike. So if you don't want to, for example, be visiting the bike shop regularly because of flat tire or something like that, then Swap Feeds might be an option for you. So you can check that out as well. There are also some cycling rules that you should be aware about. So for example, always have lights on your bike in the dark, a front light and a back light, and then also make sure that you never use your phone when you are on your bike. These both things can lead to quite expensive fines that you probably don't want to pay. So make sure that you keep your phone in your pocket or in your bag and always have the bike lights in the dark.
So then this is just some of our general advice for arrival. We recommend that you introduce yourself to your neighbours upon arrival. It might be a little awkward, but it's good to know there's people living around you and who they are. And if you do know them as well, if you ever plan to have a party, it might be easier just to talk to them as well, so that like you have a friendly face and they know that they can trust you as well. And it's good to know there's people around you as well. And then get to know the trash system. We don't cover it fully here. We do cover it fully on our website. It's a little bit more complicated than most places in the EU, but you will get to know it quite quickly and then it makes sense. We also recommend that you register with a family doctor. They're basically your gatekeeper for all your other healthcare needs here. So you go to them first and then they recommend you on. So it makes a lot of sense to register there first and then they can help you. Whereas if you go straight to the emergency room, you can be charged a lot more money. Also, as I mentioned parties earlier, do keep in mind that there are also other people living in your neighbourhood. They might not all be students and they will not appreciate hearing techno at 3 a.m. because that's what happened to me a few weeks ago. We're not a fan of it. Just be respectful, and if people ask you to turn things down, just do it because you can get in trouble with your landlord as well for noise pollution.
So a little bit about community and lifestyle in Maastricht. You can also find all of this on our website. So as Orla mentioned already in the beginning, there's a lot of bars and a lot of restaurants in Maastricht. So always something happening, always something to do. We also have over 30 sports associations. So almost any sport that you can think of, you can find in Maastricht. And if the university doesn't have an association for that, you can always start a new one. And I'm sure you're going to get people to join. There's also a lot of different clubs. So anything you might want to do from arts to founding companies or stuff like that, there is something for that. Also very diverse music and cultural scene. There's a lot of visiting, for example, artists or theater groups that come to Maastricht always. So something is always going on and you'll definitely find things to do. You can check all of the associations and all of the clubs from our website or our city map.
So then as we are reaching the end of our presentation, here's just some more serious contact details. So if you're in need of a visa, the visa office will contact you, but there's their email just in case you want to ask them a question. And then again, if you would like to apply for a scholarship, the scholarships office email is there. And if there's any questions that they can't answer or that we can't answer, we recommend that you contact the SSC, which is the Student Services Centre, and that's where we're based, and it's where a lot of other student-based helping systems are. So if they can't answer your question, they'll forward you on to someone, but you will manage to get an answer.
Okay, sorry, I'll just interrupt there because Nick's is making some good points in the chat, saying that the deadlines for applying for scholarships are actually closed at the moment. Okay, it's good to make a note of that.
Thank you.
Also, to go back to the transportation section, that you can use your phone to pay on a bus, which is super handy, and you can just tap your visa on your card. So yeah, just a little input.
Thank you.
All right, so as we are coming to the end, we have our final key messages for you. So find housing as early as possible. Hopefully you already have something at this point. Then also make sure your health insurance is valid. And if not, then apply for a Dutch insurance, just to make sure that you are insured in case any health problems arise. Then also we recommend that you arrive in Maastricht in early or mid-August. So just so you have some time to settle down before the semester begins. So something around that time is quite optimal. Also register with the municipality, get a DigiD and a bank account if you need a bank account as soon as you arrive. So you can apply for a DigiD after you get your BSN number. So first you need to register with the municipality. Then also get yourself a bike. It's going to make your life so much easier. And then master the trash system. So as Orla mentioned, the trash system is explained completely on our website. So you can check that out as well.
So that leads us to the end. So these are just our social media platforms. If you would like to follow us on any of them. And if you don't remember them, just look up mymaastricht and we will be there.
And then we just want to promote INKOM a little bit. So INKOM is the official introduction days of both of the universities in Maastricht. It's a great opportunity to meet new people, do fun activities, meet people from outside your study. They have different groups for master's and for bachelor students as well. So for example, during the week, you have a movie night, you have some parties, you have a kantus, which is a very traditional Dutch singing party. So make sure you join INKOM if you are already in Maastricht at that time.
So then these are just our contact details in case you think of questions later or just want to say hello. So there's Ronja's email and then my email, and then also our WhatsApp number. Now I still have the phone for that, so please do not call at 3 a.m. because I'm very tired and I would like to sleep. And also for special cases, that's 2 emails, is the International Student Help Desk at the SSC, and they can help you anything to do with being an international student. And then the Her Team Zoid Limburg, which will help you if there's any legal issues or anything you're kind of concerned about regarding your rental contract.
Awesome. So if you have any questions, please type them into the chat and we'll happily answer any of your questions.
Can you see these questions coming in, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So
somebody's asking if they need to buy a printer. There are several ones at the university faculty. You need to pay a little bit, but yeah, I would not invest in a printer, but would rather just print at the university.
Yeah, there's ones in every faculty, like every floor or so, and also there's ones in the library as well. If you also think of questions later, you can feel free to email us or message us.
Yeah, no pressure.
Somebody's asking how much does an average job pay per hour? So it depends a lot on your age. In the Netherlands, there's a system that the minimum salary goes by age, and the highest age category or the age bracket is 21 plus years. In that category, it's around 15 euros an hour, and then for the younger categories it's a little bit lower. I think it's starting from around 8 to 9 euros for 16-year-olds, and then it goes up every year. 15 euros is the minimum.
When you're 21 plus.
Yeah, when you're 21 plus. Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. How can you buy a SIM card, and what do you need for it?
You can buy a SIM card, for example, online. So for example, there's a company called Tele2 that I bought mine from. I filled their form online and then they just send it to me by mail. So I had to have my address for that and my BSN number, as well as then a bank account where they can charge it from, or charge the monthly fee from. Otherwise, I think you're all set to go.
Yeah, I think you can buy like SIM cards in local shops as well, and then you just set them up online, but it will normally require like a bank account.
You know any specific companies that hire English speakers for remote jobs? I think that question might be a bit too specific for us. I don't think we
Yeah.
know.
I mean, you can always check LinkedIn, all the websites that we recommended earlier. But I couldn't tell you any specific ones, but I would just have a look at the ones we mentioned, and they're all on our website in case you've forgotten.
Yeah. Can students outside of EU live in Belgium, and then how would the municipality registration work?
So if you are from outside the EU, you need a residence permit in the other country as well, so in Belgium as well. So we wouldn't recommend that if you come from outside the EU to live in Belgium, but then rather find something from the Netherlands. So if you cannot find any place from Maastricht, then for example, Valkenburg, which is like 20 minutes by train away or something like that, could be an option.
Cool. Can I buy a bike online and pick it up when I arrive? I don't think we have that service yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can contact people and if you look at the Facebook groups and see who's selling, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because you'll be transferring money that you don't know if they're a scam or anything, and you haven't seen the bike, so you need to know if the bike had like working brakes, lights and everything. So I wouldn't really recommend it, just in case, because there's always like a lot of scammers out there when it comes to bikes.
Yeah, I mean, if it's from a legit company, sure, go for it.
If it's a randomer on Facebook, don't.
Yeah, exactly. If it's just a person, and also it's kind of cheaper for you to just buy a bike when you're here from a store. They have a lot of really good quality secondhand ones, or you know, if you want to rent one from Swap Feets, my advice would be to wait until you get here.
Yeah,
I think. Okay, next one. I will move to the Netherlands with my husband. What is the procedures of IND for him? I have EU passport, but he has not. Do you guys recognize that?
Yeah, you can read more about this on our website. I'm not exactly sure how it goes if you are not a student. So more on our website, or then just from the government websites as well. So you can just Google that. I would assume that the municipality also has some answers to that as well.
Yeah, there's an expat center in Maastricht as well. So if you look up their website, you might be able to contact them, and they can probably answer it way better than we can.
Cool. How much would you say it takes roughly to be an advanced Dutch speaker, and are there any courses that delve deeper than the social Dutch one?
There are different courses. I have to say I am studying a program where I need to speak Dutch next year. I would say at this point I am not an advanced speaker, but I can get by with Dutch after 2 years. It depends also on your language background. So if you speak something like German, then it's relatively easy. If not, then it's a little bit more challenging. But the university also offers other types of Dutch courses than the social Dutch, but then you just need to pay a little bit for those to go into a more advanced level. Yeah, they have intensive like Dutch courses that you can do with the language center. You can also find this on the website or on our website. They are very full on, but in order to become an advanced Dutch speaker really soon, you would need to do it. I would say you need 2 to 3 years, honestly, to be advanced level. I would give yourself time. Have you had any experience with the Sorbonnelaan studios, guys? I have quite a few friends who live there, and they like it. Apparently it is very nice, but I don't have any personal experience but we've got a lot of questions if those are legit apartments. They are, so yeah, no worries on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would check out the Google reviews as well just to see.
Yeah. I don't know anyone who lived there.
Mhm.
Okay. Is it advisable to live in Heerlen? How long will it take to travel to Maastricht FPN? I think 20 minutes on the train, right? 20 to 30 minutes. It's really recommendable if you can find some accommodation there. More and more people are doing it, I think, and commuting in.
Yeah, and the university is also opening, or Maastricht Housing has a new building in Heerlen that they're opening, I think, at the end of this year or something like that. So yeah, I think it would be recommendable as well.
In terms of getting to Maastricht FPN, I'm not sure of the geography.
It's even easier from FPN to go to FPN because the train station is right next to the city.
Yeah, they're on the same side of the city, this campus and the train stations. So yeah, okay. How much does the language course cost? Yeah, advanced would be B2, I think. The language courses are quite expensive. I think they're roughly 400 euros per course. Now you can do online ones for like 50 euro, but you have to be very self-motivated and you have to find people you can practice with. So it depends how disciplined you are as a person.
Yeah, I would check out the university's language center website for that, just because they'll know the actual details, and also you don't have to learn through the uni. There are lots of other classes out there. It just depends how disciplined you are and how much you want how hardcore you want to do it as well, because you don't want to like be your first semester of uni and be overwhelming yourself with Dutch, but
that's true. Cool. Can I normally study a specific language aside my studies in Maastricht University? Yes. We have a language center, which is also a part of the Student Services Center. And you can do so many different language courses with them, different levels, different lengths of time. And they really want people to do these courses alongside their studies. So absolutely, you can. Okay. Does anyone else have some questions for us?
if you think of something later, obviously message us, but also check out our website because a lot of our information is out there.
Online bike shops for new bikes. Like we said earlier, I don't think we would recommend buying your bike online because you can't try it on for size. Like you don't know if it's going to suit you. You don't know if the brakes are going to work. You don't know, etc. So I would recommend just getting one when you get here. There's loads of bike shops around. There's also Swap Feets, which is a really good service. If you're not familiar with bikes, they'll fix your bike for you for a monthly fee. Like you just rent the bike off them basically, which is pretty good. Yeah, and you can just get cheaper secondhand ones.
Yeah, and they're in really good condition.
Yeah, really good condition. You're welcome, Cassie. Yeah. There's another question. Is there a deadline for getting our BSN numbers after arriving in Maastricht?
I think you should register online within 5 days of arriving in Maastricht, but then it will take a couple weeks until you get your time from the municipality to go and get your BSN. So, but do it as soon as possible when you arrive in Maastricht.
I think you have to register within 5 days of landing here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just make sure you get it done, basically. Okay. From the Kringloop, would you recommend bikes from there?
I have not bought a bike from there.
No.
I guess if it works and it has the lights and the brakes are fine, then yeah, why not?
I would recommend going to S&S Services, which is on the Grote Gracht. I'm just going to type it in. It was really good. A really wholesome company run by this guy who moved to Maastricht as a student, and then he just started fixing bikes to get himself along, financially support himself. So I'd really recommend this one. Perfect. Okay. I think we can wrap it up here. Yeah, again, like we've said, if you think of anything else, thanks, Matthew. our website is there, our social media is there, and you can always contact us, send us an email or text or whatever your preferred contact is.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us today.
Joining, guys.
Hope you have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.